On behalf of the University of South Florida, I'm delighted to welcome you to the virtual launch of the Center for Justice Research and Policy. This event marks the official and exciting introduction of our interdisciplinary research and training hub focused on social and criminal justice. At the core of the center's mission is a commitment to serve our Tampa Bay region by engaging with community organizations and policymakers. As such, we're grateful to have the support and participation of the City of Tampa, including Mayor Jane Castor, and Tampa Bay's top professional sports organizations. We thank you for your ongoing partnerships with USF. The Center for Justice Research and Policy was created as the first of its kind in Florida. It unites an interdisciplinary team of scholars and practitioners to study and improve criminal and social justice policy. Through rigorous research, the Center follows an evidence-based approach to examining the criminal justice system. A particular focus will be the study of inequities within the criminal justice system that impact communities of color. Importantly, by supporting interdisciplinary research, education, and community engagement, the Center reflects USF's role as our region's urban-facing research engine working to effect positive change. Today's presentations will provide much more detail about the Center's exciting community-focused projects. Now, to continue today's program, I'm delighted to introduce the directors of the Center, Edelyn Verona and Bryanna Fox. Dr. Verona is a professor of psychology at USF. Her research focuses on the intersections of psychology and crime, including a more recent focus on the factors that affect incarceration and recidivism. Dr. Fox is an associate professor in criminology and faculty affiliate of the Florida Mental Health Institute at USF. She's also a former FBI special agent, which enriches her research on criminal behavior. The research of Professors Verona and Fox earned a 5-year, $1.2 million grant from the National Institute of Justice, which will fund the center. As scholars and community advocates, Professors Verona and Fox are passionate about their work to advance evidence-based criminal justice practices. I'm grateful to them for leading one of USF's most exciting new efforts.
Thank you to President Currall for this great introduction and also for the amazing support of USF and the College of Arts and Sciences as we stood up this center and shared our work with the community. We also thank all of you for attending this virtual launch today so we can share more about the center, our mission, research, training, and opportunities for collaboration. Bryanna?
Yes, well, we'd also truly like to thank our supporters, including Tampa Mayor Jane Castor and the 4 professional sports teams, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Buccaneers, Rays, and Rowdies, whose incredible success this year was a big inspiration to us as we decided to start the center. We'll start with an overview of the center, describe our mission, introduce some members of the leadership team and a graduate student who's working in the center, and describe some of our research, training, and opportunities for support and collaboration. So to start, I'll turn it over to my co-director, Edelyn Verona.
The USF Center for Justice Research and Policy is unique in that it hosts an interdisciplinary team of scholars and practitioners focused on the study of crime, violence, and criminal and social justice policy. Our main mission is to effect positive change in criminal justice policy and practice. Our priorities are threefold in accomplishing this mission. We want to apply rigorous research and evaluations to enhance the evidence base of policing, corrections, and court practices. We also want the CJRP to serve as a knowledge hub for the area, where we exchange ideas, educate and train and consult with a number of stakeholders like students, community partners, other academics, and the public. And consistent with this, we aspire to be a public-facing initiative. That means that we're going to be engaging with the community on collaborations, implementation of reforms, and actions. So one of the important things that our center is about is policy change in action. They're the mainstay and expected products of the center's work. We want to use the evidence base to help prevent crime and violence, promote safe communities, reform policing, reduce mass incarceration, and increase equity in the justice system, as well as improve the outcomes for those who are involved in the system. This research practice link is critical for informing policy. Now we want to overview our main center priorities and means for accomplishing our mission of change. And then we're going to hopefully hear from our mayor as we resolve some of the technical issues. First, we wanted to create something unique. So we comprise the center of scholars from fields ranging from psychology and criminology to public health and medicine. We know that crime and justice are multifaceted, and therefore we made sure to include an interdisciplinary group of scholars and partners to create real-world solutions with all the tools available to us from these multiple disciplines. The comprehensive approach at the center ensures that innovative evidence-based strategies are developed, tested, and implemented in the field. The critical need for interdisciplinary work and community collaborations motivated us to assemble the best leadership imaginable. So our leadership team is made up of experts representing 6 academic departments in 4 colleges across 3 of the campuses at USF. Plus, we have 4 community agency partners in our leadership team. We wish we had time to introduce every single one of them because they are each critical to our mission. But since we don't have that time, we want to highlight the work of 3 of our leadership team members who represent distinct partnerships we seek to cultivate and work with. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-director, Bryanna Fox, to introduce them to you.
Okay, well, we are very lucky to have 3 members of our leadership team here today. The first is Paul Lazinski. He's a captain in the Tampa Police Department, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the great work that he's been doing there. Freddie Barton, who's the executive director of Hillsborough Safe and Sound, and Dr. Jason Wilson, a doctor of emergency medicine at Tampa General Hospital and an associate professor at USF. Now, as you guys probably have seen, we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll see if we're able to send the first person live. Let me see if boom, did it. Paul, you're going live. So I'm going to introduce Paul here really quickly. Paul is a captain in the Tampa Police Department. He has been a police officer for 31 years, he told me this morning, and has overseen some of the most successful violence prevention initiatives in the history of the city, including the highly lauded VIP program and the Public Safety Partnership, which reduced violent crimes in Tampa by double digits, making us a model for this type of program across the nation. His commitment to evidence-based policing is one of the reasons why we asked Paul to join our leadership team, and already he has been just such a huge critical member of the team, and his willingness to always put in for grants, right, Paul, has come in handy more times than we can ever say. So Paul, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Bryanna and Edelyn for allowing me to participate in such a fantastic opportunity. I'm really excited to start working with some of the people, all of the people on the leadership team, because they're very highly qualified and very exciting and all very passionate about what they're doing. And it's great how all of our jobs intersect, you know, so the sum of the parts will be better. You know, So I've been a police officer for 30 years, and policing has come a long way since I first started. When I was first given my set of keys, the sergeant just threw them at me and said, just drive around, just randomly patrol your neighborhood. And that was it. That was the gist of policing 30 years ago, at Tampa anyway. And now we've come such a long way. And I think we've come a long way because there's been a reluctance in policing over the years to kind of go it on our own. And recently, policing has allowed other agencies, particularly academia, to come into our world and really work with us with partnerships and have brought policing a long way. And I heard mentioned from Bryanna, evidence-based policing. I'm kind of a self-taught guy. So I read a lot of books and stuff on evidence-based policing, and I decided that was the way to go. And how did I meet Bryanna? We were putting together what we hope would be a progressive gun program in the city of Tampa. And we had a whole bunch of cops around the table. And I said, hey, look, if this is going to work, we've got to bring some outsiders in, and particularly academia. We cannot be scared to have people look at what we're doing, because at the Tampa Police Department, we did a lot of stuff over the years as we started to get progressive, but we never knew what really worked because I don't think we were willing to let people come in and evaluate what we were doing. So to this day, some of the great policing that we've done in Tampa, I'm not sure which part of it worked and what didn't. So having academia come in and review and work with us as partners has really, really made a big difference. And we invited her up to ATF, and she sat in on every meeting and was a great, great participant. And we developed this fantastic program that's been so successful. And it wouldn't have been as successful, in my opinion, had we not involved Bryanna and her people in the group. So really excited. We've worked with USF so much now since I've been lucky. I've gotten 4 or 5 grants over the last 4 years. And every one of them, USF has been a research partner, and we've been very happy with that. And I'm so proud to be part of this and looking forward to the work we can do together. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. All the nice things I said about Paul were all on mute. So Paul, you'll have to wait to hear them later. So thank you, Paul. We're thrilled to have next Dr. Jason Wilson here. He's an emergency medicine physician, a medical doctor, and medical anthropologist with a strong interest in how structural and cultural forces determine health inequities. He has worked on many projects that affect the health and well-being of Tampa Bay residents, including on projects to reduce opioid overdoses and gun violence. Dr. Wilson also coordinates the emergency medicine coverage of local NFL games and serves as a team emergency medicine physician for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think somewhere in there he sleeps. So I'm very happy to introduce to you guys Jason Wilson. Let's see if I can get him pulled up.
Yeah, I think I'm here and I think I'm audible. All right, awesome. So yeah, also thanks to Bryanna and Edelyn for putting this all together. It's pretty cool to see it all come together. Bryanna said, I've got a really crazy idea I want to talk to you about, I guess about 2 years ago or so, 1.5 years ago or so. And we met and we, I heard her vision and it sounded like an amazing vision. Something we needed. Bryanna and I worked together a couple of times, sort of in ad hoc fashion, coming together for sort of siloed niche projects here and there. Juvenile violence prevention, I think, is where we kind of found each other quite a while ago now. And so having some type of sustained effort to bring people together across, both an academic and a praxis space was clearly lacking in this community. And so it made total sense to get involved in this project. I'm both a practicing ER doctor and also an academic ER doctor. And so that tension or that field between those two worlds is every day, trying to find that balance of praxis and academics. And I think that's what this group is really good at already, is, driving sort of a theoretical set of theoretical messages, but finding the space and the expertise here to do it. Obviously Paul's been a police officer for 31 years and understands that world and accesses that world every single day and lives and breathes it. And, I live and breathe emergency medicine. I've been doing that for about 13 years and, walk in and see about 30 patients a day. And so to bring those forces together is really critical. It can be difficult for outsiders to get access to emergency departments and to sort of people at the vulnerable state of medical care. But yet at the same time, it's very important. And same with criminal justice system, you know, for people who want access to that as academics. So bringing those things together is really important. I've got a couple of active projects I'm really excited to bring this group's expertise into and to grow because of this group. Really, a lot of my work right now is around opioid use disorder and the impact that's had on our community. And obviously, when you do things around harm reduction, opioid use disorder, you're interacting with both the population of people who very well have interacted with the criminal justice system or will interact with the criminal justice system, and behind the scenes, Paul and Bryanna, I know they've already helped me out quite a bit to keep some research moving forward and not get things shut down sometimes. So I really do appreciate that help already in just an operational sense. And then the other big set of projects I have and work that I do is trying to understand the impact of gun violence in this community and trying to find better ways to inform interventions for potential prevention of gun violence based on really the experiences of patients who've gone through gun violence themselves. And you know, I do that through an emergency department space and access patients there in that research project, and already seeing ways we can grow that through this expertise, thinking about grants and brainstorming about new ideas as we think about what's going to come next. So I think the sky's the limit, and I think that having, you know, that interplay between the medical system, the acute medical system, the vulnerable populations who, you know, have opioid use disorder and criminal justice and gun violence is going to be key and powerful for this area. So yeah, thanks to Edelyn and Bryanna for bringing me on. I'm happy to be here.
It's our pleasure. We are so happy to have you part of the team, Jason. So last but certainly not least, and I'm sure most of you know him, it seems everywhere he goes, everybody knows him. This is a person who's very familiar, not just with our community, but obviously, like I said, everybody in the community is familiar with him. It's the infamous Freddie Barton. He's the Executive Director of Hillsborough Safe and Sound, our county's major violence prevention collaborative, made up of Tampa leaders and community members. Importantly, Freddie has helped develop various initiatives that keep youth safe, positively engaged, and help to support their reentry and prevention efforts. He is a vocal advocate for youth intervention services, mental health support systems, and community engagement, and is our center expert on how best to engage with the community, address structural issues, help address juvenile justice and racial equity. So we are so thrilled to have Freddie here with us today.
Thank you, Bryanna. And again, thank you to everyone that's tuning in. A little bit about Safe and Sound Hillsborough. We were formed in the aftermath of the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, when we saw the tragedy with Sandy Hook. And what we, as a collaborative, did for several years is we sat down together to ask the question, what can we do to make sure that we don't have Hillsborough County to become the site of the next tragedy? What we found out is that we need to take a preventative approach instead of an intervention to find out what causes a person to go down the path of violence and what causes a youth to feel that there's no other option in their life than to go down the path of delinquency. Safe and Sound Hillsborough is a partnership between all of our major public officials and their organizations. The Board of County Commissioners, all three cities, and police chiefs and mayors of Tampa, Temple Terrace, and Plant City, the State Attorney's Office, the Public Defender's Office, the Office of the 13th Judicial Circuit, and the Children's Board and the School District, all who came together in a collective impact model, taking a public health approach at reducing and preventing violence. Most importantly, we engage the community and we have community residents that provide insight as to what their respective neighborhoods need in order for them to feel safe in their community, as well as making sure that youth have a positive outlook. We know that we have to address things from a policy perspective as well. And that's why I'm so glad to be partnered up with this institute and Dr. Fox and Dr. Verona. I met Bryanna maybe about 5-6 years ago as we were doing community-based work with the CDC of Tampa. And since meeting her, I've known her to be a champion for justice and also looking at how data can help drive outcomes. And the same can be said for Dr. Verona. I'm proud to be a part of this leadership structure, and I can't wait to see all the fabulous work that we put together. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so very much, Freddie, for being here. So I think we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming here. Cindy, I think you can send us live. Yeah, boom, there we got it. So we have a lot of ongoing research, as you've heard. This work is being conducted through the center in 2 different areas. One is on corrections and reentry, and the other one is on policing. One of the first collaborative projects, which ultimately led to the formation of the center, was in partnership with the Pasco Sheriff's Office. With guidance from the jail, we aim to identify the psychological risk factors and needs of those that are entering this jail to improve the accuracy of risk assessments and help address recidivism. This became known as the Psychological Assessment of Risk and Criminality Project. Our team collected data on over 1,000 individuals through this project with very little funding, we might add. This served as the pilot project for the National Institute of Justice funding that we recently received, where we will implement novel evidence-based treatments and reentry services using a randomized control trial, actually a double RCT. The impact of these interventions will be evaluated on potential reductions in future offending and improvements in well-being for those who participate. We look forward to having results on this important issue in the near future, so please stay tuned. On the policing side, I was asked by Mayor Jane Castor to join her new task force on policing in June of 2020 to recommend and evaluate policing reforms aimed at addressing community concerns, specifically after the death of George Floyd. This has become a signature initiative of the center in its quest to directly impact policy using evidence-based research, and this work has been supported by community sponsors, which we will soon discuss. Besides the benefits to the community served by these research projects, which involve strong research practice collaborations, they also present opportunities for students all over USF and beyond to become trained in this research and obtain real-world experience working with populations most affected by the system. They're our leaders of tomorrow. But first, we're going to transition and have a message from a leader of today, from Mayor Jane Castor.
Hi, this is Mayor Jane Castor, and I want to send my heartfelt congratulations to the University of South Florida for the virtual launch of the USF Center for Justice Research and Policy. Building safe, equitable, and just communities for all is critically important. It's what inspired me to become a police officer, and it's what led me down the path of becoming the chief of police and now the mayor of this great city. We're living in a historic time where conversations about justice and policing have been held over dinner tables and conference tables in every corner of our nation. And one thing has been abundantly clear: the need for justice research. The meaningful work that will come from the CJRP will inform history-making decisions that will improve our justice system for generations to come. It will provide innovative solutions to some of the barriers to equity that we see today, and it will prompt evidence-based policies to improve welfare for all. The CJRP may just be getting started, but its legacy has already begun. I'm so grateful to Dr. Bryanna Fox and Dr. Edelyn Verona for their contributions to my community task force on policing and Chief Dugan's community advisory team. Bryanna and Edelyn, thank you for lending your tremendous support and expertise to our city over the past year. You have already made a long-lasting impact on our community, and I'm grateful for your partnership as we continue building strong police-community relations every single day. Moving forward, we will continue to lean on USF for its world-class justice research to inform our policies. Progress means we need everyone at the table, and I thank you all for your commitment to this important work. I look forward to working with the CJRP to ensure our policies align with our mission of serving and protecting our Tampa community. Congratulations on this exciting launch, and go Bulls!
We want to thank the mayor for that wonderful recording and for all of her support and of her staff. And now we're going to talk a little bit about our second major priority of the center, which is on education and training. As noted, we want to train the next generation of researchers and practitioners, encouraging our trainees to take on leading roles in the use of cutting-edge science and practice. In doing this, we expect to develop new certificate and graduate programs at USF that can benefit the current students as well as professionals seeking to further their education and training. But we also hope to offer training and share information with people working in the field, including practitioners in mental health, substance use, the law, and policing, as well as policymakers, other academics, and the general public. This mission of education and training naturally brings us to introduce one of our student contributors in the center, who Bryanna will introduce.
So I'm very thrilled to be able to introduce one of our student leaders, Megan Scott. She received her bachelor's from USF, and we were very lucky to keep her at USF, where she is studying to obtain her master's in criminology. She's been heavily involved in research across 2 labs, both mine and Edelyn's, and she is studying homicide, gun violence, and the prevention of violent crime. So when the idea of the center came up, obviously working with Megan was an easy idea. So we wanted to make sure we got her involved right from the go. So I'm very thrilled to introduce you all to Megan Scott.
Thanks, Dr. Fox. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Megan Scott, and I just finished my first year of my master's degree in criminology here at the University of South Florida. I've been working with Dr. Fox and Dr. Verona on research for several semesters now. This research experience has included working on a grant-funded study to identify risk factors of recidivism among people booked into a local jail, collecting nationwide data to track changes in the types and levels of gun violence, and participating in the Mayor's Task Force on Policing here in Tampa. Currently, I am leading a project with Dr. Fox on the societal response to mass shootings and collaborating with Dr. Verona and a fellow grad student on a study of psychopathy in youth detainees. The experience I have had working on this policy-relevant research as an undergraduate and now graduate student has been invaluable. I have gained many new skills essential to succeed in any academic career, but more importantly, my research has real-world implications and I have the chance to make a difference. The most rewarding part of this experience has been working on the Mayor's Task Force on Policing, where our team identified key issues that needed improvement and then developed evidence-based solutions based on both input from the community and practitioners, as well as research-suggested best practices. Now with the Center for Justice Research and Policy, we can approach many other areas of the criminal justice system with this same approach. When working on topics as important as criminal justice, it is imperative that the knowledge we gain goes beyond academic journals. That is why I am so happy to work with the Center for Justice Research and Policy, as I know the research we conduct can easily be translated into policy and best practices in the field. It is a wonderful opportunity to be able to work with scholars across various disciplines, as well as community leaders and practitioners working in the criminal justice field. Any student who is given the opportunity to work with the Center for Justice Research and Policy should take full advantage of that experience, as this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. It's a pleasure to work with such accomplished students at USF. It really is one of the major reasons I go into work each day. As noted, one of the mission of training and education also includes trainings that address various different topics that we hope to offer for people in the community, in the public, and as well as professionals and practitioners in criminal justice. Some of the topics include how to prevent crime by implementing certain law enforcement and community prevention strategies, as well as ways of increasing mental health and medical health access to all. These trainings and workshops can also serve to exchange information. So it's not only us delivering information, but we're obtaining information from the public to facilitate collaborative work. The community is key to our success. So our final priority is community outreach and consultation. We cannot solve the problems without listening to and working with those operating on the ground to implement policies and programs. Our collaboration so far with agencies in the community, as you've heard, have allowed us to work on improving reentry, mental health, policing, and other areas of the justice system. And we hope to disseminate the research that we do in these collaborations in an accessible way and bring the public and community in as partners to engage in local projects that will make the Tampa Bay region a shining example of criminal and social justice policies. Now I'm going to turn it over again to Bryanna, who will introduce some of these local partners that are sponsoring and supporting our work.
So as Edelyn mentioned, we are thrilled to have representatives from each of our major sports teams in the Tampa Bay region who have already been early sponsors of the Center for Justice Research and Policy. They're literally huge champions, I mean, in the actual word, because they all have trophies to their names, but also in terms of their support for the center. So here today we have Elizabeth Frazier. She's the Executive Director of the Lightning Foundation, and Stefan Thomas. He's the Executive Director of the Rays Baseball Foundation and Rowdy Soccer Fund, and Tara Battiato, the Vice President of Community Impact for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So first, I'll turn it over to Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Fox, for that amazing introduction. I don't see the red box around me, but I'm hoping I'm live, so I'm going to keep on talking. But I just want to first off thank you for the opportunity to support this groundbreaking initiative and this work here in the Tampa Bay community. We at the Lightning first learned about the great work of Dr. Fox and Dr. Verona last summer via the Mayor's Community Task Force on Policing, which was mentioned earlier, and how that was focused on police and community relations. And we were so impressed with kind of just the conversations that happened, but really even more importantly with the actionable items and kind of actionable points that came out of those conversations. And through playoffs last year through our community hero funding, we were honored to support Freddie Barton of Safe and Sound Hillsborough, who spoke earlier, as well as fund some training through Tampa and St. Pete police departments. And we were delighted to be able to do that. But we also realize that education and awareness needs to be ongoing and evolving, just like the needs of the community. And that's what's so great about this center. That's what it's really focusing on. What are the needs and how can we continue to evolve those needs as the community evolves? It's important for us here at the Lightning to be able to support what we can at the community and to be able to partner with, the Rays, the Rowdies, and the Buccaneers to help, be a part of making this possible on this launch today is really, once in a lifetime opportunity for all of us. So thank you for the opportunity to support and look forward to, not only helping to get this center off the ground through this, but really looking forward to working closely with Dr. Fox and Dr. Verona on finding additional ways to support and partnering as we move forward together. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fox, for this opportunity. Thank you. Back to you.
Oh, it's our pleasure, trust me, and it's been such an honor to work with you. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So next we have Stefan Thomas. He's the Executive Director for the Rays Baseball Foundation and the Rowdy Soccer Fund. I had the pleasure to meet him last summer when we were discussing some of the work that we were doing here before this was a center, and he was a huge support of us. So thank you, Stefan, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, and I'll mention good luck to the Lightning tonight. We got Game 6. I know us over here at the Rays and Rowdies are excited for it, and all of Tampa Bay is going to be rooting you on. So good luck again. First off, just want to thank Dr. Fox and Dr. Verona, especially in the entire USF team, really for your guidance and leadership throughout this entire process. Also, a special thank you to the Tampa Police Department for everything that you do to keep our community safe. Last year, after the deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, our senior leadership team and our diversity, equity, and inclusion team began meeting just to have conversations about what we can do in this battle against systemic racism. We knew that words were not going to be enough in this fight, and our organization was able to commit $100,000 annually in the form of a racial equity grant to issues around systemic racism. When we met with Dr. Fox and the entire USF team, we were just very impressed with their passion, their knowledge, their understanding, the way that they were, just the recommendations and the inclusive approach, really more than anything else, working with Tampa PD to make sure that everything in our community can improve and can do it in a safe and understanding and a more knowledgeable way. More than anything, we feel fortunate to be in a position where we can make an impact in our community that we know will have a lasting impact for years to come. With that, just thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Thank you, Stefan. I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you for all that you're doing to help support and better our community. So last we have Tara Battiato. She is the Vice President of Community Impact for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our reigning world champs of football. So thank you so much for being here, Tara, and I turn it over to you.
Thank you for having us. It's truly a pleasure to join everyone today. When the Buccaneers learned of USF's plans to establish this new center, it was the perfect opportunity to further extend our social justice efforts and join forces with community partners to help implement impactful change in Tampa Bay. Social justice has been a focus of our team's outreach for a number of years. In 2018, our players and staff came together to launch the Buccaneers Social Justice Initiative, created to break down barriers to social and racial equality. That announcement included the establishment of the Buccaneers Foundation Social Justice Fund, a commitment by the Glazer family to work hand in hand with our players and coaches in support of organizations that are moving the needle in the areas of social justice. The Center for Justice Research and Policy is tackling the issues on which the Buccaneers Initiative is built: police relations, criminal justice reform, workforce development, and youth empowerment are key pieces to injustice we are working towards to reverse. Whether by developing new training programs or sharing information with the public in a transparent and accessible manner, the center will no doubt serve our community for the better. We are incredibly proud to join the Lightning and the Rays in support of the research taking place at USF, and will continue to work towards advancing criminal justice practices, achieving racial equity, and creating positive change here in Tampa Bay and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you all. Because of these sponsorships and other community partnerships, we're really busy with many projects already underway and others that are going to get started soon. And I just want to name a few that may be of interest to those in our audience, for those who want to get involved or share ideas with us for future work. First, we are really excited to have this new contract for a book that will be produced by our center called the Handbook of Evidence-Based Criminal Justice Practice. This will be an accessible go-to guide for agencies and practitioners to learn about the latest research-based practices across domains of the justice system, so corrections, policing, courts, and juvenile justice, and be able to sort of implement them in their own local jurisdictions. So current members of the center leadership team will be sharing their expertise by contributing to these chapters in the handbook, and we may solicit some of you for your expertise as well. So don't be surprised if we come a-knocking. A second project that we're working on is we're proposing to conduct the systems level equity evaluation of a very novel program conducted by the St. Petersburg Police Department called the Community Assistance and Life Liaison Program. What this program does is it routes dispatcher calls to mental health and caseworkers instead of law enforcement. So we'll likely be one of the first to conduct this kind of equity evaluation on a program like this in our region to make sure that those who are most affected by some of the policing that they experience might be able to access different types of services. Finally, we have many collaborative projects on the very important issue of gun crime, which has been discussed by many of our partners. So we're hoping that some of these initiatives will help curb violence and suicide in our region and across the country. And now I'm going to pass it on to Bryanna.
Okay, everybody, so we are ready for questions and answers. We are excited to take any questions that you may have. We hope that this was very informative and that you guys were able to benefit a lot from understanding more about what the center does and how you can get involved. But if not, we're here to answer some questions, so please put those in the chat box. So first, I see here we have one. What opportunities are there for students who want to get involved in the center? So I'm going to actually ask Edelyn to answer that one. Put her on the spot.
Yes, you did. So I think Megan really hit the nail on the head, and I spoke to correspondent from the Oracle, which is our student newspaper, and one of the things I said is students are the engine of this work that we do, not only because they are very much involved and participate at all levels, but they are also the ones that are going to take over for us and hopefully do it better. So we are interested in students because we're an interdisciplinary center, students who may have interest and be in different departments or colleges who want to dedicate some of their skills and learning to improving the criminal justice system. And so you can get involved in helping us collect data or helping us write up reports or conduct evaluations. There's a lot of ways that you can become involved.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Edelyn, and we strongly encourage students to come work with us, both ones at USF and if they are looking to be involved in this type of work, send your undergraduate and master's students our way so they can come get their master's and PhDs here. We'd love that. So next question is, what can we do to help support the center? Well, there's a few different things. I guess I'll answer this one. There's a few different things. One is to be our collaborators. If you are an agency or you want to partner with us on a research question, or if you have an issue that you want to address, we have people here across all different fields that would be perfectly suited to help. So please reach out to us and we would be thrilled to help. The next thing is, of course, you can be like our wonderful partners, the Lightning, Rays, Rowdies, and Buccaneers, and support us through a donation. We would be very, very happy for that because we obviously need to have the money to be able to do some of this work. So if you are able to do either of those, that's a great way to support us. Or just keep attending our virtual launches and liking us on Twitter. That also helps. Oh, I see here there's another question. Will there be resources online for community groups to access via the internet? I would like to have a link on my community's website for residents to be able to learn from. Community resources and links would be very helpful. Wow, we absolutely agree. I think that's a wonderful idea, Jody. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I think that's something we can definitely do. We're actually hiring a center administrator to start, what is it, Edelyn, in June. So we're hopefully going to be able to do a lot of these things very, very soon. And that's a great idea. So we'll make that one happen. Let's see. More comments than questions, I believe. Abraham Salinas, 2 questions. Number 1, is there an interest in examining experiences of survivors of domestic violence when they come in contact with the criminal justice system with regards to racial equity? That's a really interesting research area. As I said, we have a variety of interests, and there's somebody who specializes in all of these things. Just off the top of my head, looking at domestic violence and contact with the justice system, we have a few members on our leadership team, one of course being my friend and colleague, Dr. Joan Reed, who I'm sure would be outstanding to address that. And the second question is there an interest for international topics as well, or is it only domestic? Another fantastic question. We would love to look both abroad and here in the United States at research opportunities. For one, to see how different evidence-based policies and strategies apply in different contexts, but also because we would love to expand our impact and reach as far as we possibly can. So we would be thrilled to work with people all across the world. Oh, thank you. There's another comment here. The collaborative approach is amazing. how can we best keep up with the research and work that you're doing? That is a phenomenal question. We are hoping, we do have a Twitter handle, which is at CJRP USF, so you can follow us there as we have new updates and things that we're starting on or we're engaging in. You can see them there. You can also go to our website, which is www.usf.edu/CJRP. That'll take you right to us, so you can see more there. And then hopefully, as things start moving forward, we can be out in the community, and we would love to share more and be involved both out in the field and here at USF. So that was a great question. You guys have great questions. Big congrats. Oh, thank you. Oh, so many kind words. Big congrats to the center team, an impressive collaborative exemplar for how to bring research policy and education training together to address some of the most pressing problems being experienced across our country. Thank you, Paul. That was very kind. Definitely more of a comment than a question, but we very much appreciate it. So thank you very much. Let's see if there's more. Oh, thank you. There's very kind words. I hope I didn't miss any questions.
There is a question about, does the center have a physical location on campus, which is a great question.
Yes, so that is a wonderful question. We are working on a physical location. That's not been as much of a priority given that we haven't been working on campus, but now with campus reopening shortly, we are very excited to have a space, and we're looking forward to actually having people come visit us, talk with us, to have appointments and walk-ins. We also want to host conferences and trainings. We want this really to be a hub where people can come, meet with us, talk with us, and get information, and then have our whole crew, our whole leadership team, all of our supporters, affiliates, be able to come and work together. So as soon as we get that location, Dean Eisenberg, we're going to work on that. We will let you know. So we'll have that on our website. Another question, should the education curriculum of young students include the subject of gun violence and drug addictions? Wow, great question. I think that making sure just in general that we are getting evidence-based information, particularly on criminal justice issues, out there to kids as soon as possible, just so they can make informed decisions and they start understanding more about these issues from as they're learning, and making sure they're not learning the incorrect thing would certainly be beneficial. I do notice a lot right after high school when they come into college, and there's some unlearning that we have to do where they've been told things or seen things that just aren't true. So absolutely, we would support getting evidence-based research and factual information out to kids as early and young as possible, especially if it could help with prevention of crime and violence. Okay, let me go back. I don't see any additional new questions, but lots of very lovely and kind comments. Thank you so very much for all of our friends and colleagues who attended today and who wrote to us. So thank you very, very much. If you guys have more questions, please feel free to email us. Our contact information is available on our website. And as we said, we are hoping to have our center administrator start momentarily. We've been getting a lot of interest, and please keep writing to us. And hopefully we will have somebody who will be dedicated just to collaborating and talking with all of you if you have any questions. So this brings us to our last slide here. Thank you, Cindy. To learn more, as we said, you can go to usf.edu/CJRP. And of course, if you would be interested and you would like to make a gift, we would be so incredibly graciously appreciative. You can actually scan that QR code. It'll take you right to our website and show you exactly how to do so. But again, in any way that you would like to support the CJRP, we would be very appreciative. So thank you very much. Go Bulls, go Rays, Lightning, Rowdies, and Buccaneers. We're so appreciative and thankful for our donors and sponsors who've been incredible and saw us and really helped to stand us up. Thank you to USF President Currall and to Dean Eisenberg, who I believe is going to speak here in a second, to Mayor Jane Castor, and just all of you for being here today. And really, I want to emphasize the support that we've gotten to stand this up. I had no idea how much effort it took to stand up a center, but the support we've received from the College of Arts and Sciences, from USF, from Dean Eisenberg and from all of his staff and team. There's no way that we would have been able to do this without all of them. So truly, we're incredibly grateful. And we hope that we get to keep building on this and moving forward and working towards these goals that we have to help improve research, practice, and our impact on policy in the community. So, oh, there it is, Dean Eisenberg. Oh, wonderful. So I didn't get to do an introduction, but you need little. So thank you very, very much, Dean Eisenberg, for being here. He is the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. He was one of the most supportive people that we could ever ask for to get this stood up. From the very beginning, saw our vision, did not need much convincing, was very willing to support us in every single way he could and more, beyond what I could ever ask for. And Dean Eisenberg, thank you for all you did, and it's a pleasure to have you here. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Bryanna, and thank you everybody on the call and everybody on the team. There's not too much more that I can say about this incredibly timely center. But thanks to you, Dr. Verona and Dr. Fox and the entire center leadership dream team. You all know you're some of my favorite people, and I know that you're going to do extraordinary work in the community to advance evidence-based changes in policy that will help our community. I have to say that the modern research university is really at its best when it addresses issues that are at the top of the public agenda. And given the national conversation about race and about police work, this is an extraordinary example of that. This is the right center at the right time. And also a number of people, beginning with the detective at the beginning of the call, have talked about the transformative quality of evidence-based research and evidence-based practice. In my own career, I've seen the way evidence-based work has transformed healthcare, and I've seen the way it's transformed higher education, and I look forward to seeing how it will transform criminal justice as well. As Dean of the college, I really see it as a privilege to house this center. I understand the relevance of the issues. I love the interdisciplinarity of it and the fact that it cuts across lots and lots of different fields. And as Bryanna just mentioned, from the first moment that she and Edelyn came to my office and told me their vision, I knew that this would be a priority for the college. I also should tell you all that we spent 3 hours with the Board of Trustees this morning reviewing the draft strategic plan for the next 10 years of the University of South Florida. And we're about one draft away from the final strategic plan. And I'm pleased to say that one of the major thrusts of that plan is social justice and equity. And I think this is going to fit very, very well with the work of the center. And I think that will further amplify the success of the center. The great attendance we had at this event today, and the support from our community partners, and come on Lightning, I know you can do it tonight, as well as the Tampa Police Department and Pasco County Sheriff's Office. We're well on track to make meaningful and lasting change. I just want to thank everybody for their participation today. I look forward to hearing about all of your successes as you lead the way and make a positive change to our community. So thanks to all, and have a great rest of your day.
So with that, thank you all so much for joining us today and for being part of this work. I know some of you tuned in from all over the country and globe, and you took time out of your day to be here. So we're very appreciative. Thank you all for your support, and please follow us online, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.